So how do you know when it's time to pick the grapes?
Well, that's one of the more difficult decisions to make when you come to a vineyard, because every year is different. Some years you have uneven ripening in the bunches. Other years you have uneven ripenings between bunches. And so it's a difficult thing. So the beginning of the vintage, you make sure that you know what the vintage is like. And this year the berries are ripening very evenly. So we can go and we can do berry sampling. So when you do berry sampling, we use about 10 people. They come to the vineyards, they're about 2 or 3 rows apart. And the first bunch they come to, they will take, for instance, 3 berries from the top of the bunch. Then they will walk 10 steps, then they will take 3 berries from the bottom of the bunch. They will walk 10 steps, then they will take 3 berries from the inside of the bunch and then the outside of the bunch. So trying to get an even sample from the whole bunch. The reason for that is that normally the sugar level of the berries on top of the bunch is higher than the sugar level of the berries at the bottom part of the bunch. And because everything is crushed together and going to one tank, you want to get a good idea what the sugar level is going to be inside the fermentation vessel. So if it's a very uneven year, we will do bunch sampling. So that means that we come to the vineyard and we have crates, and we will pick about 5, depending on the size of the vineyard. If it's for instance 2 hectares big, we will pick between 5 and 10 crates of grapes and bring all of that down. It's such an important decision to get to the right ripeness that we are prepared to pick that amount of grapes. That's the one part of sampling. The other part is tasting the fruit. So you pick the berry and you taste it and see if the fruit is showing. If the fruit's not showing it, then you still have to wait. This is a vintage 2013 where the fruit is showing quite late. So the sugar levels are relatively high, and now the fruit is starting to show, and now we know it's ready to harvest. Also, you have to taste the skin, you chew the skin. If it's too aggressive and too hard, you know you still have to leave it for a while until the skin softens up. You can also look at the pips. In South Africa it's very difficult to see on the pips if it's ripe, because most of the time our pips are still green at harvest. And then and lastly, you can also look at the stems. If the shoot starts to brown and the stem starts to brown, you know it's also indication of ripeness.
Cool.